I'm so happy to be here welcoming Bor Zuljan, Slovenian master lutenist and improviser. When I was a child, I was punished for taking my eyes off the music. And the idea of improvising was really not fashionable. But now improvisation is very much à la mode. Et je suis très contente de faire partie, au moins à la fin de ma carrière, de cette mode. Et je me demandais comment toi, Bor, tu as commencé à faire de l'improvisation. Est-ce que ton éducation musicale comme enfant menait à ça?
Bon, comme enfant même, peut-être pas. Et bonjour déjà. Comme enfant même, non. J'ai commencé dans une école de musique. Et par contre, avec la guitare, j'ai assez vite commencé à faire des musiques actuelles. Et j'avais la chance aussi que le professeur à l'époque me laissait faire des choses comme Metallica et choses pareilles. Et du coup, petit à petit, avec le rock, d'abord metal, rock, progressive rock et tout ça, j'ai commencé à aller de plus en plus vers le jazz aussi. Et déjà, dans le rock, on sait bien, et le blues, on improvise beaucoup. Donc, c'est plutôt avec ça, avec la guitare électrique, que j'ai commencé à faire la musique sans forcément jouer les notes écrites.
Ah bah, c'est très intéressant. Et j'ai remarqué sur YouTube, il y avait plein de musique folklorique, notamment avec ces deux frères qui chantent
Teofilovici.
avec. Oui, tellement beau. Alors,
Mhm.
est-ce que la musique folklorique faisait partie de l'éducation?
Alors, pas forcément de l'éducation, mais c'est vrai que ça m'intéressait assez tôt déjà de ma vie. D'abord avec certaines musiques rock progressives, notamment avec Vlatko Stefanos et Miroslav Tadic, qui était donc, enfin, Vlatko c'était un espèce de guitar hero de l'ancienne Yougoslavie. Et Miroslav Tadic, qui est aujourd'hui à Los Angeles, qui est donc un super guitariste un peu difficile à définir dans quel style il joue, il mélange un peu tout. Et ça m'a toujours intéressé ça. Donc j'ai commencé à m'intéresser intéresser à ces musiques-là, surtout balkaniques, et surtout de Macédoine. Et puis en fait, cette collaboration avec les Teofilovic est venue un peu avec ça. À part ça, je m'intéresse à plein d'autres musiques du monde aussi. Je joue un peu de musique iranienne, le tar, des musiques
Oui.
mexicaines qui est complètement différent. Donc en fait, la musique folklorique fait partie de, de mes pratiques musicales maintenant.
Et est-ce que tu dirais que c'est improvisé?
Ah, oui, toujours.
Toujours.
Toujours. Oui, oui, oui. Ben, moi, je pense, je ne peux pas imaginer une musique sans improvisation. Et aujourd'hui, on voit que, effectivement, même dans les musiques classiques, celles qui, dans l'improvisation pendant un moment était tabou, même dans ces musiques-là, dans les siècles passés, ils improvisaient. Donc,
Ben, tout à fait.
bon, moi, je suis.
C'est tout à fait
Ouais,
nouveau ne pas vouloir que, que les gens improvisent. C'est pas
ouais,
naturel du tout.
ouais. À part ça, donc, si je parle des musiques, je sais pas, iraniennes, ils ont niveau d'improvisation assez élevé. Donc c'est tout un monde, bien sûr, avec leur système de das-gar. C'est un peu pareil que dans la musique indienne. Donc il faut d'abord apprendre tout un répertoire de motifs, un bagage comme ça, et après on commence à improviser. Et pareil, si je parle de cette musique mexicaine, son jarocho, c'est très différent, bien sûr, c'est très tonal, mais on improvise tout le temps. Moi je joue le requinto où la mélodie est tout le temps improvisée.
And what's the relationship between improvisation and composition? I mean, yes, could you define one from the other? I mean, you could just say composition is improvisation written down, or is it?
Yes and no. Yeah, sometimes we can say that improvisation is like instant composition or something like that. I mean, both are related. It's not necessarily, I mean, composition, it's another process of writing down, so it can take time, it can take another way of thinking, and so we can organize things in another way. Improvisation it comes from the moment, and of course both can help each other, let's say. Or I always thought that like the best improvisation should sound like good composition, and the best composition should sound like a great improvisation. So I think that's a kind of a nice goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing to just improvise for us a little bit, but maybe explain from where you start.
Okay, yeah, so I can improvise a little fantasia. So that means I will have a little theme. I can take a theme that we can find also in Dowland, for example.
That's very wonderful. Now, could you compare that to, for instance, improvising on a little folk tune, so we can hear the differences, the sameness?
Okay, like a folk tune, like from a specific region, or
how about a Slovak folk tune?
Slovene. What would be there, Slovene? That I will rather take something as we were talking from about the Balkans. I will go a bit
fabulous.
more to the south and take a theme from Kosovo.
Mm-hmm. And is it a very different way of thinking when you're improvising on a Dowland theme as opposed to a folk theme?
I mean, of course, it's another way of improvising, let's say, but still, I think the process or the attitudes can be the same. What is different is that the language is different, of course. One has to know the language in which one wants to improvise, and sometimes we can mix or also make different fusions, of course.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like already playing on a Renaissance lute, something from Kosovo would probably sound more like Renaissance than if I would take a traditional instrument. But of course, I'm thinking more about the theme. And here we have also modal music, but still we can think of this music much more vertically than I would do, for example, improvising some Renaissance counterpoint.
Well, and that was the next thing I was to come to, because that's what I found so extraordinary, that you were improvising à deux de la polyphonie de la Renaissance. Et comment est-ce qu'on aborde improviser à deux, ou même improviser la polyphonie? Comment est-ce que tu as réussi à faire ça? Comment est-ce que tu as commencé à faire ça?
Alors donc improviser à plusieurs, enfin à deux ou plusieurs, c'est bien sûr possible en respectant certaines règles, on pourrait dire, ou plutôt certaines recettes de cuisine. Donc si on veut faire une tarte tatin, il faut mettre des pommes dessous avec plein de beurre, et puis voilà. Et c'est pareil avec la musique. Donc
tu aimes cuisiner
on doit... oui, bien sûr. Mais donc, pour improviser à deux, par exemple, on peut faire un canon en respectant certaines règles, en sachant quel intervalle on peut faire mélodiquement pour que l'autre puisse faire, et ça devient une consonance. Donc, si on respecte ces règles-là, on peut faire un canon à deux ou à plusieurs, même des fois on arrive à faire un double canon sur un cantus c'est des choses assez complexes. Donc voilà, il faut juste respecter certaines règles.
Oui, c'est ça. Et est-ce que ça marche dès le début, ou est-ce qu'il faut le travailler beaucoup avec
Il faut le
personne?
travailler, bien sûr.
Oui.
Oui, donc si on est à plusieurs, effectivement, c'est bien, il faut le travailler. Oui.
And
Pas
seeing
mal.
as exactly, and seeing as we're talking about the Renaissance, that leads me to your new recording of Dowland, which we're all looking forward to. What did you record?
So it's basically what I like most from Dowland are his fantasias. So also the record is called A Fancy, as much of his fantasias. And there are 8 of them on the CD. Some of them might not be from Dowland, but they are anyway extraordinary. So I decided to put them on the CD as well. So that's the fil rouge, we can say, of this recording. Mm-hmm. I put the chromatic fantasias, which are like the most incredible pieces, I think, written for Renaissance lute, as like the beginning, the end, and in the very middle. Like, so it's has kind of a certain structure, starting from nothing with the descending chromatic theme, and then the last piece is farewell, which is just like adieu, with the ascending chromatic theme. And in between there are his dances, some tunes like Fortune, and other pieces, yeah.
Which are keyboard pieces, of course.
Sorry?
Or not. No, I didn't really mean that. What I really want to ask then is, if you can improvise your own Dowland, why would you play Dowland?
Well, I can improvise something, but I can't say that I'm really improvising Dowland. And I think his music is really extraordinary, really high quality, and I can't imagine, at least now, improvising something like his Forlorn Hope Fancy with the chromatic theme all over It's very, very complex. It's very well written. The architecture is just incredible, and I think it's worth playing Dowland as it is. And it was also one of my first loves, I would say, in with guitar already, while playing classical guitar, and then with the lute.
Yeah.
So
Is
finally, I
that what led
decided
you to the lute?
Also, I could say that I was interested in lute a bit, like thinking of what could be something like medieval music, because of, well, I was listening before to heavy metal and then to different rock things and progressive rock like Jethro Tull and things like that, and you hear things that sound like some early music. You don't know what it is, like at the beginning, and then I started researching and I thought, oh, one day I would play the lute. Then I realized that the Renaissance is what I like the most. And while asking my guitar teacher at the time to if I could get some pieces from like Middle Ages or Renaissance, she brought Dowland. And that was my first contact with this music.
And do you believe that Dowland should be played adhered to the letter, or should we be ornamenting or improvising?
I think all the music can be changed a little bit. I mean, it's a living kind of creature, and I'm sure Dowland, when he played, he changed things as well from performance to performance. And we can find that even in different manuscripts, things are not always exactly the same. So yeah, we can. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind changing things. I did change some things in the CD, or I was not really strict to one specific manuscript. Sometimes I mixed some ideas because yeah, I think that's what he might have done as well at the time.
Yeah. Would you like to play us a very short piece of real Dowland?
I can try with yeah. I'll play a fantasia if that is okay. It's yeah. It's one of his shortest ones.
Okay. merci, c'est super beau. J'adore penser à la musique, presque toutes les musiques, comme de la pâte à modeler qu'on peut ajuster, on peut créer d'autres pots avec, etc. It's wonderful. I also heard you doing some beautiful Dowland songs, and it made me think of what other collaborations you do. Of course, in the folk music, you know, fantastic.
Yeah, well, that. Let's say that folk music is not necessarily what I do the most.
No, okay.
But I have different other collaborations. Of course, playing Dowland songs is something that I always liked. But I have a duo with Romain Beauclerc, baritone from France. We did the first program around Josquin. So it's Josquin's music with a lot of improvising, with a lot of diminutions, and so it's just lute and voice. So it's pretty new, pretty different from what we heard till now from Josquin. And we are continuing exploring other repertoires also from the Renaissance together with Romain. I have my own group, La Lira. Which I
comprised of what?
Yeah.
What instruments?
Sorry?
Comprised of what instruments?
So it depends. There are different programs with very different things. So we recorded the first CD that was out 2 years ago around the music of Giacomo Gorzanis, who was an Italian composer but active in Slovenia. So that's why I worked on his music. So this was together with another lutenist playing also collascione, gamba, percussion, and Pino De Vittorio, who was singing. So this is also kind of in between, let's say, folky and early music. And I'm also thinking of other programs with this group. We'll be soon doing a bigger program of kind of a proto-opera from late 15th century. So with like at least 10 musicians, we're preparing this. And there are other different collaborations. And I also work with different groups like Tasto Solo, especially, and Grand La Voix. And now I started a new collaboration with Collegium Vocale, Ghent.
Nice. With just you?
Sorry?
With just you and Collegium?
Yes, we'll be doing a new program of Gesualdo, so just archlute and 5 voices.
Fantastic. And actually, my last question was, what are your future musical fantasies? But it sounds as though you've really covered all that. Very exciting. So, or do you have a long-term other fantasy of what you want to do?
Oh, I think it's okay. I mean, I can also improvise something more if you want, or do something else.
I was going to ask you if we could end with a piece of your choice or an improvisation of your choice.
Yeah, I can do. I can improvise something around Bolognese structure or passamezzo and saltarello. So it's something that we find in written by Giovanni Maria da Crema in 1530s or 40s, and so it's also something that will be part of my future solo project around improvising and sounds from the early 16th century.
Amazing. Well, before you play that, I'd just like to thank you for joining us, and we're very excited that you'll be coming next year to Montreal for an improvised program. But we'll see what happens. But it'll be wonderful to meet you in person. Thanks a lot for joining us this year.
Thank you. Thank you.